And I'm a little worried about showing some of this video footage.
They were running amok on Shankill Road in Belfast. These teenagers petrol bombing a bus with the driver still on board. Northern Ireland's First Minister...
Holy shit, dude. Okay, I'll show you that. Hold on.
They were
No one
running
died,
amok on
I
Shankill
think,
Road
so.
in Belfast. These teenagers petrol bombing a bus with the driver still on board. Northern Ireland's First Minister condemned it as attempted murder. The Prime Minister said he was deeply concerned by the violence. But this community's given up on politics and policing. Sinister elements are exploiting the youth, and police are under attack.
This is not the fault of the front line.
These are loyalists, not Republicans.
Police officer. This is a failure of politics, and I believe there are questions to be asked at the most senior level in policing about their ability to lead in a consistent manner. You know, and the only thing that should govern policing is the rule of law.
So why the fuck are the loyalists doing this shit? These kids have been manipulated and threatened by loyalist drug gangs. Loyalists realize Westminster doesn't actually care for them. Because of the soft border between Ireland and the UK.
Tension's been simmering for months over the Brexit protocol. But a decision not to prosecute anyone for breaches of COVID regulations at an IRA funeral was the tipping point. In the loyalist heartlands, they're losing faith in the peace process. Stacey Graham, a community activist, says nothing ever seems to change.
This community has been left behind. We still have high levels of multiple deprivation. We're still living in poverty. Educational underachievement is a massive issue. We have really poor mental health. And people just feel really left behind and disconnected from mainstream.
Wait, so the argument, so it's like if fucking conservatives were mad that like there was a funeral that happened, like a Democratic funeral where people were able to attend, and they decided to like literally firebomb shit as a consequence of like Chuds got mad, not because they wanted to reopen, but literally because they fucking were upset that someone else was able to put together a gathering. The loyalists did the same thing? No, that's what I'm talking about. That's
Mainstream politics.
Dale Pankhurst says he understands the anger, but wants young people to make the choice he did. Politics, not violence.
People are hugely frustrated. They're sick, sore and tired of this. But there is a way to change it. That's the message that I must say. If you engage, if you empower yourself, if you educate yourself, you then in turn empower and engage your community. And that can make the real difference.
Brexit always posed a risk here. Republican violence in the event of a land border.
I don't understand the fucking argument that loyalists make regardless. Like, brother, you're not English. Like, they don't consider you to be English, right? Am I crazy? Like, you're literally arguing, you're advocating to be second-class citizen in a country that has left you behind, okay, in an area where, like, oh, this is to British, never mind. They think they're British? Isn't it mostly a religious thing? Literally just molding Protestants who want to get stepped on. I know that they consider themselves British. I understand that, but... And some of them literally fucking immigrated there, but like, it doesn't matter. Brexit now happened. It's just like, England gave up all interest in Northern Ireland in 1990 W. One year I visited my mom and came back with a Northern Irish GBP. Their stores wouldn't take them in Britain and gave no reason. Not English, British, but now we really are totally leaving them to be a second-class British. Loyalists would be second class if there was a united Ireland? I just don't understand the interest in cucking yourself aggressively this way. I don't get it.
Or loyalist violence in the event of a sea border. It's rocked the fragile peace.
You really are one-sided? Yes, I'm literally one-sided on this issue. Can you explain this in American terms for me? This is the... It's like they're... Oh, fuck, this is gonna piss people off, but these are the conservatives that basically are like the Uncle Donny, the Uncle O'Sullivan of the Irish, and some are British, that are saying like, oh no, we want to fucking have this little covenant that is still a part of there's like pro-British occupation. Republicans, on the other hand, in Ireland want a unified Ireland. The loyalists are the ones who like the United Kingdom and want to remain a part of the UK.
The fact that society here is still divided by walls like this one points to a failure of politics. For all the hope of the Good Friday Agreement, there has been precious little reconciliation. And for as long as one side is deemed to be winning and the other losing, there will always be potential for civil unrest. It's against this backdrop, scenes reminiscent of the past, that Stormont leaders...
Loyalists were happy to have nationalist Catholics as second-class citizens for the first almost 80 years of Northern Ireland's existence. Now they feel oppressed because they don't have sole control over the state anymore. I can't describe it in no pixel RP. They want to remain a part of the UK to occupy Ireland. Republicans want the 6 counties back and want Ireland to be an entire country on its own. Yes. Why do people keep saying you don't understand and then they fucking describe the exact same thing that I've already described? I mean, my understanding of the situation is super fucking surface level, but
are under pressure to demonstrate a political alternative.
why are you using Sky News as a news source on this? It's totally unreliable and right-wing. Brother, I'm not biased towards fucking the loyalist position, so it doesn't matter. It's just a fucking way to... Oh God. I use Fox News as a resource too. Like, I don't understand. I recognize the biases and I still speak out against it. So what the fuck do you want from me? What is this random person?
Guys, I just wanted to get on camera and explain to a lot of people that don't know what's going on here, what's actually going on. So basically, what's been happening in Northern Ireland is loyalists, who are people that really want Northern Ireland to stay part of the United Kingdom, have been getting very violent, attacking police officers, attacking public transport, as you saw in the videos that I've been posting, and rioting in the streets. The main reason for this is because
they're protesting the deputy first minister not adhering to her COVID guidelines to attend a terrorist funeral. Okay. Secondly, Jesus Christ. Secondly, then sea border in the NL protocol or NI protocol, which alienates them from Britain. Thirdly, the police didn't prosecute anyone who attended the funeral. Oh shit, dude. I guess then you should become. I guess you should firebomb people. That's like a pretty good retaliation when you get upset. Yeah, firebombing a bus driver, I think, is the smart way to maneuver when you're upset that a leader is not following COVID restrictions.
You've probably all heard of Brexit. Brexit is what the English are doing because Northern Ireland didn't vote for Brexit. We voted to remain, but globally across the 4 nations of the United Kingdom, the vote was to leave. So Boris Johnson and the English government...
By the way, I literally, it is top of the hour. I'm not going to like fucking literally play Black and Tans right now. I know the history behind it for the person who's saying the ad break song is about the officer of the British death squad, Black and Tans, who shot up a soccer game in an incident known as Bloody Sunday. I am aware.
And are taking all of us out of the European Union. And in order to do that and maintain... peace in Northern Ireland, what they've had to do is pretty much create a customs border in the Irish Sea, which means basically that you're going to have custom checks from bringing anything from Scotland, England or Wales into Northern Ireland. And this was the only way to avoid making a hard border between the north and the south, which would have caused another Irish civil war. And as a response to this, hardline people that really want Northern Ireland to stay seamlessly connected to the rest of the United Kingdom are now turning to violence. And it's fucking terrifying, because all you need to do is either watch Derry Girls, which is very much factual, and go back and research the Northern Irish Troubles, which killed 3,000 people between the 1960s and the 1990s. We are very much in danger of falling back into that, and the British media do not care. The British media are not reporting on it whatsoever. They're reporting things about tabloids and celebrity news instead. And it's fucking terrifying. So that's what's going on in Northern Ireland at the minute. If anybody has any questions, please pop me a DM and I will try my best to explain the situation.
Why would it cause a civil war? Why are they so certain of this? I don't know, because it already did not that long ago either. I mean, that's why people are fucking upset about it. It literally happened very recently, as she also described. It's a handheld milk jug. It's a eggnog stress ball. Okay.
In Northern Ireland have condemned the rioting that's raged in Belfast for 6 nights, but criticised each other about the underlying causes. Police were attacked, petrol bombs were thrown, and a bus was set on fire last night. In total, 55 police officers have been injured in the violence. The conflict in...
I, for one, am kind of upset. I think, look, you know, we can go back and forth about whether Irish or POC or not. But what's happening right now, folks, is cultural appropriation. Okay? It is. That's our thing. Our thing is civil wars. Okay? You just, you know, get your own thing, Ireland. Chill the fuck out. We are the ones who are supposed to have the hogs and the AR-15s and shooting one another. Get your fucking own thing. What do you think you're doing? Okay? What do you think you're doing? It's my culture, not your prom dress. Okay? Speaking of which, it's top of the hour every hour. It's time for a 60-second ad break right now, ladies and gentlemen. If you no longer want to see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You get one free Prime subscription a month. You can divert that by using your fucking Twitch Primes on me, your favorite streamer. There it is. Here it is, boys. Here it fucking is.
In Northern Ireland goes back to the late 1960s. It's centred on religion and the area's status. Unionist parties, who represent mainly the Protestant community, believe it should remain part of the United Kingdom. But nationalist parties, who are mainly Roman Catholic, believe it should leave the UK and unite with the Republic of Ireland. A conflict between the two communities, known as the Troubles, started in the 60s and cost the lives of more than 3,500 people. On the 10th of April 1998, the Good Friday Agreement was signed between the UK government, the Irish government and Northern Ireland political parties. It set up a power-sharing government in Belfast, with the Republic having some say in areas like farming and health. The following month, a referendum was held on both sides of the Irish border for people to decide whether or not they wanted the agreement. The result was a resounding yes, and peace was restored. Chris Page has this report on Wednesday night's riots in West Belfast.
The barrier, which is commonly known as a peace line, was anything but peaceful last night. The wall was built many years ago to try to stop clashes between politically divided communities in West Belfast. But there was trouble on both sides as crowds threw petrol bombs, fireworks and bricks. The violence began on the Loyalist Shankle Road, where protesters had gathered. A bus was hijacked and set on fire. There were no passengers on board, but the driver was said to be very shaken. Then, across the Peace Wall in the Springfield Road area, Republican youths rioted. Community representatives tried to calm the situation.
It's sad to see this. We're trying to appeal to these young people, but this isn't the answer. They shouldn't be engaging in violence, sectarian violence. It's only a matter of time, I feel, before someone gets seriously hurt.
People in Northern Ireland had hoped that scenes of destruction like this
Roadmen
belonged
rioting
well in the past. But today, as the debris and damage from last night has cleaned up, the question is, does the violence of the last week have the potential to escalate?
My appeal to those that wish to organise.
Guys, Irish Republican is the opposite of American Republican, okay? Don't get triggered by the word Republican. Irish Republicans are the opposite of United States Republicans. The literal opposite.
Disorder is not to do it. It will be the subject of investigation, and it serves no purpose. Nobody wants to see the scenes that we have seen.
The Irish Republicans aren't even like fucking American libs. Like, they're literally fucking OP. Like, they're leftists, okay? Some of them are Marxist-Leninists. -1 fail RP, dude. Why are they... What?
Last night, we now have a new generation of children and young people who have been exposed to things that they won't have seen previously.
Understanding Order 11, I have summoned the Assembly to meet today.
Police briefed ministers in the devolved government this morning, and the Stormont Assembly returned early from its Easter break to discuss the issues.
There can be no place in our society for violence or the threat of violence, and it must stop. Just as it was wrong in the past and was never justified, so it is wrong now and cannot be justified.
As political leaders, we must stand united in appealing to all concerned to refrain from further threats or use of...
In Turkey, for example, the Republican Party is also the Social Democratic Party. The Republican Party in Turkey is also the Social Democratic Party, like the left adjacent or liberal party for the most part.
...of violence, and recognise that it's only through democratic politics that we can solve our problems and concerns.
Both Boris Johnson and the Irish Prime Minister Micheál Martin have condemned the violence. It's been the most sustained period of unrest on the streets in Northern Ireland for some time. Only small areas have been affected so far, but many people in this part of the UK are feeling a new and yet familiar sense of concern. Chris Page, BBC News, Belfast.
Well, earlier I spoke to Jonathan Powell, former British chief negotiator on Northern Ireland at the time of the Good Friday Agreement. Here's what he had to say about the violence.
Well, actually, the riots have been simmering for some time. The riots are engaged in by criminal elements who are using very young children, as young as 12 and 13. But the underlying political problems really date back to Brexit. The problem was Brexit was always going to hurt one community's rights. If we leave the EU, there had to be a border somewhere. It could be on the island of Ireland, which would hurt nationalists and Republicans, or in the Irish Sea, which would hurt unionists. And that's led to unionists getting angry, particularly because the implementation of it has led to real problems in terms of supermarkets and supplies coming in. So it's coming from that, and then it's coming from the DUP, the Unionist Party, who called on the head of the police to resign after he allowed a Republican funeral to go ahead despite the COVID rules. So you've got this simmering tension, and it's very sad to see this kind of violence on the street again.
I mean, this is obviously a very complex situation, and you know all about the troubles all too well. I mean, are we seeing a situation where we're rolling back to the past?
No, I don't think this will.
Yeah, the worst part... Okay, so the worst part about this entire situation, which everyone fucking saw was going to inevitably happen as a consequence of Brexit, is that, like fucking... Okay, maybe not half, but a solid chunk of the people that fucking voted for this to happen, literally, are dead now. Because they were, like, 95 years old. So, good luck to the UK. Good luck to everyone in Ireland. But, like, motherfuckers in England were like, oh yeah, bro, Brexit means Brexit, bro. Boris, bro, we're gonna fucking do Brexit, bro. Nigel Farage. And then they fucking fucked off and died. Okay? And now they're just like left with this situation where there is a border between There's a border between them, and a barrier between them and the fucking country that they so desperately want to remain a part of. Great. Good stuff.
Will take us back into the Troubles, but I do think that politicians are playing with matches. This is the time of year in Northern Ireland when, as the evenings grow longer, you can get into sustained rioting. We often have in the past. And now you have the two communities attacking each other again, which happened last night. This could take off in a very ugly way. I really do think it's incumbent on the political leaders in Northern Ireland to come together and to actually do the right thing to stop this. They can do that.
The person who said Northern Ireland voted to leave, by the way, is wrong. Like, you're literally completely wrong. Even motherfuckers in Northern Ireland voted to remain. 56% of Northern Ireland voted to remain in the referendum. So, like, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That was a troll? Only Wales and England voted to leave. Water cannons are being deployed. Biden will unite Ireland. We voted to remain, lost the majority. Yeah, well, you lost because of. I mean, I mean, here it is. Am I like misunderstanding this here?
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please. As counting officer for the Northern Ireland voting area at the referendum held on the 23rd of June 2016 under the European Union Referendum Act 2015, and having been authorised to do so by the Chief Counting Officer, I hereby...
A little weird to hear IRA called leftist given Northern Ireland is religiously conservative. Motherfucker, it's Ireland. A lot of it is religiously conservative. They're fucking either Catholics or Protestants. Both of them have religious conservatism. Bro, they literally just fucking recently allowed abortion to happen. Like 2 years ago. Yeah. You can be a fucking religious Marxist, okay?
Give notice that I've certified the following. The total number of ballot papers counted was 790,523. The number of votes cast in favour of Remain was 440,707. The number of votes cast in favour of Leave was 349,442. The number of ballot papers rejected was as follows. No official mark, 18. Both answers voted for, 148. Writing or mark by which the voter could be identified, 1. Unmarked or void for uncertainty, 207. And the total number of ballot papers rejected was 374. Thank you.
As they unite. It is also time for the British government to get involved along with the Irish government and use their good offices to start dialogue rather than allowing this violence to take place. Boris Johnson's taken a week before he's even commented on it. The Irish Prime Minister has been anxious to take action. I hope the British government will take their responsibilities seriously.
I suppose the focus has been on the pandemic, but...
Brother, I disagree with Chapo's take on fucking Brexit anyway. I don't know if why you think like sending me a fucking link from Chapo Trap House on Brexit is going to compel me to also they're older than me. Like, you're literally calling me a boomer and then fucking pointing out a group of people who are literally older than me in age.
Once the pandemic fades, you know, the focus will have to come on the long-term effects of Brexit.
Because they happen to agree with you and they're like pro-Brexit leftists or something.
It will. Brexit is going to be a problem for Northern Ireland. It always was going to be so. John Major and Tony Blair pointed this out during the referendum campaign. We now have the Northern Ireland Protocol, that we have the border in the Irish Sea, and it's going to have to be made to work. And I think it's very important the British government engages responsibly with the EU and making that work, and that the EU is flexible in the way that it makes some of these regulations work. The British government has approached this in the wrong way, as making it an argument with the EU, whereas actually they have a common interest in facilitating this and ensuring it does not cause problems.
I mean, do you feel that the political leaders and the police aren't doing enough?
I think the police are doing the best that they can. It is very difficult in these circumstances to deal with rioting and to deal with some of the loyalists who've been stirring it up, who are actually basically criminals. So I do have a lot of sympathy for the police. As I say, my problem is that politicians are taking really dangerous steps. This is a time of year when we know there can be trouble in Northern Ireland, and they are literally playing with matches with the gas leaking all around us. And I do hope they're going to stop and actually try and calm things down.
How is the British government widely viewed?
Well,
why the fuck are you saying we lost? They have only voted 100. They've only counted like there's 51 yeses and 128 noes so far. Oh, you're joking? Okay. And the vote counting process is literally super fucking convoluted. Like you have to every 100 votes, I think it automatically forces a recount or some shit, right? Like it's gonna be for an entire day. Like there is going to be a whole bunch of time is going to be a whole bunch of time is going to be spent here before they figure out what the outcome is. Looking at the first like 200 votes is not going to tell you anything. What's the reason for voting anti-union? You're cucked. You're super cucked.
The British government is supported by one half of the community, by the unionist community who want to remain in the United Kingdom, and disliked by the other half. But the problem with Brexit was a majority of people in Northern Ireland voted to remain in the EU, a large majority. And so they have been forced out of the EU against their will. And that's part of the trouble that we're facing in Northern Ireland now.
I mean, when you say the political leaders are playing with fire here, what exactly are they doing and saying? Or do you feel that they're not doing and saying enough?
I do think it's a wrong thing for Arlene Foster, who's the DUP leader, to be demanding that the Chief Constable, the head of the police, resign at this stage. We do not want the police being discombobulated right at the beginning of this difficult season. We need some stability in the police and everyone supporting the police. And I think there's a terrible mistake to try and undermine him.
What we're seeing, though, as you say, is frankly young children and teenagers out on the streets.
It is. This is actually much younger than we've seen before. The dissident Republicans, so the terrorist group on the other side, have been using youngish teenagers to attack people, and that caused journalists to be shot a couple of years ago. This time it's young loyalists, so from the Protestant population, and they're being used by these older men who are basically criminals to go out on the street and create this trouble. It's a very disturbing new feature.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to talk a little bit more about that. If that is something that we've seen them use as a tool, again, why isn't the police able to crack down on that?
It's very difficult. These organisations are almost like mafia-type organisations. They have a hold over the community. They can threaten people if they release information. So the police find it very hard to crack down on this kind of crime. I think there needs to be part of an effort to reach out to the people in those communities who want to take politics. They haven't been represented politically since the sad death of their leader, David Irvine, who played a key role in the negotiations of the Good Friday Agreement and subsequently. So they don't have a political voice. They need to be engaged in dialogue. And these are very deprived areas, the lowest level of educational achievement anywhere in Europe.
Okay. Great to see a totally ignorant Yank trying to comment on the issues on my island. Stick to your own realm, cuck. I'm Turkish, bro. Exit vote by age, 18, 24, 73% said remain, 27 leave, 25, 35, 62% remain. Yeah, I know. I basically said only the fucking old people voted in large majorities to leave. And then they fucked off and died before they see the consequences of their vote. Okay. We are going to move to talk about your own fucking